Hey folks, this is Riker with a gaming news wrap-up video where we discuss the happenings of the week. This week's topics include the possible leak of Diablo 4's 6th class, last Epoch's multiplayer beta release date, Valve doing a major Steam Deck giveaway, and more. As always, discussion timestamps can be found in the description below, but right before you skip ahead, just a quick reminder to ring that sub notification bell to be alerted to new Saturday episodes and stay up to date with gaming news highlights. But before we move on, just a quick word from this video's sponsor, Squarespace. I built my website, Riker.com, using Squarespace, and I was able to do everything myself, quickly and easily, and with zero education in the field, all thanks to how easy Squarespace is to work with. Watch how easily I update my website to add an entirely new section to embed my Diablo lore videos. Squarespace is flexible for any kind of website, whether for your business or your hobby, with tons of templates that you can easily customize to your needs. No knowledge of coding required. You can even connect your social media profiles to automatically push website content to your socials, set up members-only areas with exclusive content, and sell products. Basically, if you want to build a website, I recommend Squarespace. So, head to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/Riker and use code Riker to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. That's squarespace.com/RHYKKER and use code Riker to get started today. Kicking things off with some quick loot box news. It looks like Australia is looking to impose some heavy restrictions on games that implement some form of gambling. A bill has been introduced to amend the Australian Classification Board rules so that any game with loot boxes will be rated 18+ in order to prevent kids from buying or playing games with loot boxes while also carrying a warning on them. Australia's war on loot boxes began with an inquiry back in 2018. Which resulted in the conclusion that loot boxes meet all the psychological criteria for gambling without technically meeting the legal definition of gambling. In 2020, a parliamentary committee recommended loot box regulations to restrict access to adults aged 18 years or older. And now we have this bill being put forth that is already supported by at least 2 members of parliament. As a reminder folks, the objective here isn't to make loot boxes illegal or ban them completely. Casinos are legal. Informed adults are allowed to spend their money however they want. This is about protecting children from gambling in the same way that we don't allow kids to gamble at casinos. In other news, we got an official gameplay teaser for Starship Troopers Extermination. It's a 12-player PvE co-op FPS coming to early access in 2023, which is a nice change from the 4-player co-op games. By which I mean, yes, I totally have 11 other friends who want to play a video game with me. Doesn't everyone? Seriously though, I've got a soft spot for Starship Troopers. I hope this one ends up being good. So help spread the word. I'm doing my part. In other news, Marvel's Midnight Suns released this week, and it's getting pretty good reviews, averaging an 83 out of 100 based on about 50 critic reviews, with 90% of critics recommending the game. The tactical RPG seems to be another XCOM-like game from developer Firaxis, and while it doesn't seem like it lives up to 2012's XCOM Enemy Unknown, which was my game of the year at the time, and Diablo 3 released that year, it's still a solid game from them. Most of the criticism seems to be about the game's writing, which, let's be honest, writing isn't the main draw for this type of game anyway. In some The Witcher news, we got some extra details this week about the Witcher Remake, with the biggest news being that they are making it a fully open world game similar to The Witcher 3. However, it will be releasing after The Witcher 4, according to CD Projekt Red CEO. So we're looking at a 2026 release for The Witcher Remake at the earliest. In some Valve news, Steam has hit another concurrent user peak, 31.1 million during the American Thanksgiving holiday. Now, while all you had to do to be counted into this 31.1 million was be logged into Steam on your computer, you don't have to actually be in a game. This nonetheless is an indication of the continuing growth of PC gaming that seemed like it was just a pandemic bump, but has continued to rise. In other Valve news, next week during the Game Awards on December 8th, Valve will be giving away 1 Steam Deck per minute. 1 Steam Deck per minute during the entire show, which is going to be at least 2 hours based on past shows. So they're giving away a minimum of 120 Steam Decks. For a chance to win, you'll need to sign up on the official website below. I mean, definitely don't go to that website. Be sure don't go there. Don't tell anyone to go there. The fewer people sign up, the better my odds of winning. And to finish off our Valve news, the enhanced version of Portal 1 with RTX will be launching on December 8th. If you already own Portal, this is a free update that adds full ray tracing for realistic lighting and shadows, as well as remade high-res textures. If you're looking for an excuse to replay the amazing Portal 1, now's your chance. Now, given all this, it would not surprise me if Valve has some kind of announcement to make at the Game Awards. Maybe a new title. I doubt it has a 3 in it, but hey, we'll find out in a week. In some last Epoch news, we've finally gotten word about the multiplayer beta for this upcoming and promising ARPG. March 9th, 2023 is when the multiplayer beta will officially launch. Prior to that, though, there will be some limited multiplayer events. The multiplayer beta invitational takes place from January 27th through 29th. The multiplayer beta week takes place February 2nd through 12th. And the multiplayer beta open weekend will be February 23rd to 26th. Then the full launch, open to everyone indefinitely, will be on March 9th. Last Epoch is an ARPG with a ton of promise. It still has my favorite active skill system of any ARPG yet. I'm glad they didn't rush the game out and pull a Wilson, that is, release in a buggy and unfinished state that ultimately doomed the game, but now I'm concerned that the game will get buried under Diablo 4 and Path of Exile 2. At this rate, it looks like a certainty that Diablo 4 will release before Last Epoch. Again, current leak is suggesting an April release date for Diablo 4. More details in this video. And while I think Last Epoch can definitely compete with Diablo 3 and Path of Exile, I think it's going to show its age a bit more against Diablo 4 and Path of Exile 2. I do hope this game will be able to get the spotlight it deserves and jumpstart its developers into a company that can go on to be successful for many years to come. In some Path of Exile news, we got the reveal of the Forbidden Sanctum, the newest upcoming expansion, which releases December 9th. In addition to the Forbidden Sanctum Challenge League, the expansion brings buffed endgame unique weapons, 2 new skill gems, 7 new Vol skill gems, over 15 new unique items, endgame improvements, and the official release of Ruthless, a new extra difficult game mode that you can choose to opt into. As for the Forbidden Sanctum itself, it's a roguelike game played out one room at a time. In every area or map, you'll get to decide what room in the Sanctum you'll explore next. On the Sanctum map, you can see the contents of a few rooms ahead, so you can plot your path in advance. While you're in the Sanctum, you have a resource called Resolve, which is basically an extra health bar that only exists within the Sanctum and persists from room to room. If it reaches 0, your run ends and then you have to restart next time. You lose Resolve by taking damage from monsters or environmental effects, and these effects cannot be mitigated by typical defenses like evasion, armor, or block. Every room you pick will contain something, either a curse, a buff, a special vendor, maybe a resolve heal, and you're going to see what's in it before you go in so you can decide what rooms to take and which you're going to have to skip. It also has a system very similar to Last Epoch's Idols, which is basically Diablo 2's Charms, but only working within a special separate inventory panel. In this league, they're called Templar Relics, and you place them in an altar. You'll find new relics as you play, and you'll need to rearrange the contents of your altar and decide which relics to use at any given time. For more details, check out the website below. In some Diablo 4 news, the official Diablo Twitter account posted this tweet: "Heed our warning, #Lilith is coming," with a looping animated gif of what appears to be rose petals falling, the same that we see at the end of the opening cinematic from BlizzCon 2019 after Lilith returns. This was followed by a couple other #Lilith is coming tweets, from them saying, "The end is near, use Lilith is coming to tell the world what you'll do before you're dragged to hell," as well as "Lilith is coming for blood, you have one chance to spare your soul, what will you say to her?" The account also changed its profile picture and banner to a cosplayer in what appear to be priestly robes bearing a symbol that seems to be associated with a new religion within Diablo 4. We've seen the symbol before in past screenshots and videos, and suspect it may be a new symbol to represent the familiar good guy religion of the world, the worship of the light, or is otherwise some variant of this religion, which has existed in some form throughout most of humanity's lifetime. Could this be some form of hint at something? Possibly. At the very least, it seems they're gearing up for something. Maybe something big happening at the Game Awards next week? Preparing a media blitz? However, it's unlikely to be a hint to something like a priest being the next class in Diablo 4. But, you know what may be a hint at the 6th class in Diablo 4? What seems to be like an accidental leak. You see, on the official Diablo Displate brand shop, a piece of artwork was temporarily available before it mysteriously disappeared from the shop shortly after news of it being posted to Reddit. Now, thankfully, Reddit user Mustard Gas Hot Dog grabbed the image, which seems to depict a number of heroes fighting a horde of enemies. On the left, you can see a necromancer, the two-handed scythe and pale hair as a giveaway. Lower left, you can see a druid, the wild beard and storm magic tips us off here. Bottom right is a barbarian, the horned helms and Celtic woad body paint. Top right is a rogue, dual-wielding short blades while wearing a mask. And off-center is a sorceress wielding magic and a staff. But directly in the middle, front and center, is an angelic figure wielding a spear and shield. The figure clearly has angelic wings and armor, but also has a face. This is at odds with what we typically know of angels in the lore. As seen in this other art, as well as in literally every depiction of an angel ever, all angels are shown as being faceless. It's just basically darkness under a hood. The only angel to ever get a face was Tyrael, and that was after he pulled off his wings and became mortal. But we've never seen an angel with wings and a human face. So let's just reiterate here. We see the 5 classes represented, plus a 6th angelic character. Now, before we go any further, let's display this piece of art here. This was from BlizzCon 2019, Diablo 4's reveal. It's another version of this same image, but with only the barbarian, druid, and sorceress, because at the time, those are the only 3 classes that had been revealed. You can see the sorceress was slightly reworked in the new version, but it's still the same base piece of art. So previously, the barbarian was front and center. Now, we have this new piece of art with the 2 newly revealed classes plus a 6th figure. Now, combine this with the fact that this piece of art was almost immediately taken down from the display shop after it was posted to Reddit as a, hey, what's this, guys? And it feels like this may have been an oopsie, that someone added the wrong version of this artwork to display it or otherwise released it to the shop too soon. We know that more classes will come to Diablo 4, that's no secret. We know that we have a couple archetypes that are not yet covered. A holy class, we don't have one of those. We also don't have a shield-bearing class. Historically, the Paladin and the Crusader have filled both of those roles, the holy shield-bearing class. Now, this character also seems to capture both of those archetypes as well, while also working in the spear-wielding archetype that the Amazon carried in Diablo 2 and that many players have been missing. Now, interestingly, back when we only had 3 classes revealed, people guessed that the 4th class may be a spear and shield bearer, because the campfire scene here had a spear and shield tucked away in the shadows in the background. So, could we really be looking at the 6th class for Diablo 4 right here, which would likely be introduced in the game's first expansion? In a recent video, we covered how the former Diablo 3 game director, Jay Wilson, revealed that their first expansion class, the Crusader, was settled on before Diablo 3 was even revealed to the public. And by the way, check out that video if you haven't seen it for more insights. So, it would make sense for Blizzard to already know what the 6th class would be, and to have that artwork ready to go for a while now. Now, if this is the 6th class, what is it exactly? Is it an angel? If so, why does it have a face? Is it a fallen angel? If so, why does it have wings? Is it a crusader or a paladin that has somehow activated some ultimate power buff that makes it grow wings? Redditor Desert Cyphus believes it may be an Amazon's Valkyrie. The Valkyrie wears golden armor, carries a spear, and has a holy aura. Now, if it is a holy class of some kind, it can fit with a narrative of, well, currently we know that Heaven's gates are closed to Sanctuary. We're kind of on our own, Heaven's not helping us, so perhaps in the expansion that's when Heaven's gates open again, and the light, and whomever associated with it, is coming to help us once more. Now, some folks are wondering, is there a secret 6th class that will be revealed before Diablo 4 releases? That is, the game will actually release with 6 classes rather than 5. And maybe next week at the Game Awards, we're going to get that reveal. That big news will be dropped on us on December 8th. Personally, I don't think that's going to happen, but I do think the odds are pretty good that this might be some representation of the first expansion class. I mean, we were almost guaranteed to have some kind of holy character come next, as well as one that wielded shields. For reference, using our analysis of archetypes, we correctly called the Rogue and Necromancer being the 4th and 5th classes, so sometimes what makes most sense is indeed what you get. But whatever this is, this would be a unique spin on a holy shield bearer, rather than, oh, it's another paladin. But what do you folks think? Is this the 6th class? And if so, what is it? A fallen angel, an Amazon, a Valkyrie, something else? Sound off in the comments, because that's going to wrap up this week's video. But Do be sure to have checked out last week's video in which we discussed how Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard may get blocked. Thanks for watching. Special thanks to my Twitch, Patreon, and YouTube supporters for making these videos possible. If you like what you see on this channel and want to support the creation of more content, you can consider pledging on YouTube or Patreon and unlocking behind-the-scenes content, monthly virtual hangouts, and more. If you enjoyed this video, please share it. Check out these other videos and subscribe to join Riker's Raiders for more gaming content.